Our next video is verb tense in formal/analytical writing. So pause the video and write that title down. Our first subtopic will be past tense verbs. So you can write that down and underline it. Underneath, write, they often have an ed at the end of the verb, and you can write some of these examples down. Enjoyed. So whether it's singular, she enjoyed, or plural, they enjoyed, the verb doesn't change much in the past tense. She thought, they thought. The only time it does is when we have our helping verbs, was and were. They were, she was. But these are our past tense verbs. So go ahead and pause the video and write these down. Next, we have our present tense verbs. These often have an S at the beginning, at the end, or there's no ending, depending upon singular or plural. So this means the action is happening now, whereas past tense means it's happened in the past. So the examples are they enjoy or she enjoys, right? So if it's plural, there's no S. If it's singular, there is an S, which sometimes is tricky. But I think if you use it in a sentence and you say it, she enjoys, you're not going to say she enjoy. And then again, we have our helping verbs, which we have to know, and you all memorized, is in our think and thinks. Go ahead and pause this. This is your third subtopic for this video, present tense verbs, and underneath you should have neatly written the idea and the examples. Finally, we have future tense verbs, and these usually have a will in front of the verb. They will enjoy, they will run, she will think. Pause it again. And finally, this is what we're getting to because although that part that you just listened to was definitely a review, why all of this matters is for two reasons. How do you use verb tense in formal analytical writing, which is what we are going to be doing this week? And what are the exceptions to the rule? So I do want you to write the majority of this down. You can do the dark bullet point. Typically, in formal writing, you should use present tense verbs because you are currently writing in the present. You don't have to write this part. I'm just going to explain it. So, for example, this week you'll be writing about a story in our packet. Since you are writing it now, you will use the present tense because those are your ideas today. Okay, there are two exceptions to the rule, and I do want you to write this whole thing down. If a quote has a past tense verb already in it, you can keep it in the past tense. If you are referring to an event that happened in the past and there are context clues to support the verb shift, then you can use a past tense verb. And I'm going to give you an example in a second. But take a minute to write this down. And just because I'm checking to see if everybody's actually listening, in the bottom of your page, of whatever page you're currently on, I want you to draw a smiley face. This is my little code to see like who is listening and who is just fast forwarding as fast as they can. But don't tell anybody. Okay. So the final thing I want to show you is an IXL example of changing verb tense because of context clues. So you will be doing this one later, this LL3, and you don't have to write this down. I just want you to listen. So, does the following have an inappropriate shift in verb tense? If so, fix any verbs that don't match the tense of the verb in bold. So the bolded verb, because I didn't read the directions quickly, I read them too quickly the first time. I didn't realize the bolded verb is you cannot change, right? You can click on all of the other ones, but you cannot change the bolded verb. And so what you have to do is the constellation Canis Major, Latin for greater dog, lies southeast of Orion, the hunter constellation. So it's present tense verb. You have to say to yourself, is it still there presently? Then this is correct. Does this constellation still lie today in this location? Yes. The ancient Greeks identified. Now it does switch from present to past. However, this is justified because the ancient Greeks identified this way long time ago. They're not currently identifying the Canis Major. So In this case, this shift in verb tense is appropriate. And it could happen when you're writing your paper, where you want to say, years earlier, she something or other. Well, years earlier gives you the context clue to justify using past tense. However, the majority of your paper should be written in the present. And as you're writing, if you have any questions, please feel free to come up and ask me, and I'm happy to help.